Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is going to be about the tips and tricks associated with your joint brushing grout compound. Resin compound, as some people like to call it, or brushing grout. So the little tips and tricks that I would like to share with you today are the unboxing of the product just before you use it, the storage and preservation of the product if you end up having half a bucket, quarter of a bucket, 3/4 of a bucket left over when you're finished your project, or you've had to leave the project for a period of time before you can revisit it again. So we'll start off by saying that your brushing products nowadays come in there's a very wide range of products out there, various manufacturers. It comes in different colours, different textures, different size of particles in the actual product itself. They all do pretty much the same thing. They all are used quite similar. Yes, there are slight variations. Manufacturer from manufacturer will specify little things, some of which we'll look at a later date when we get actually down to doing demonstrations on placing this product into the joint in your paving. We'll also discuss the suitability of this product with types of paving and paving that it does not suit. For the purpose of this demonstration or video today, I just have two products here. One which we've been using for a long number of years, which is the Botmint. We've been using that for I'd say 8, 9, 10 years, and we get on very well with the product. Colour match suits a lot of the work we do, and it's very good. I've been recently introduced to Jointech, which is an Irish manufactured product, very good product. We've had a chance to use it over maybe 1 or 2 projects in the last 4 or 5 months maybe, just to try it out. Some of the colours that this product comes in is actually very good for matching up to granite and what have you, silver granite. So we've had the opportunity to use it and get good results from that too. So that's not taken from the other manufacturers out there, the other companies out there. You even have some paving companies, supplying companies that actually manufacture their own as well. And as I say, whatever product you use, that's the product you've chosen to use or is available in your area. And if you get good results from it, work away with that. This video will suit the DIYer as much as it will suit the landscaper. Some of you are aware of these little tricks that I have already, but maybe some of you have not. Right, the first thing is, of old, these products were, I'm talking about maybe 15 years ago, we were introduced to products like this that came in a cardboard box with a kind of a tin foily shrink wrap inside, and we got woeful trouble with the product from the point of view that it was transportation damaged or bad packaging at the start or whatever way it was, that a lot of the product ended up being thrown in a skip because it was just gone hard on arrival on site. It just did not transport very well. Even at the early stages, maybe it was a product problem, I don't know, but it turned people off, it turned us off, and at the time we went back to the traditional sand and cement pointing. Some people will say that sand and cement pointing is a better way to go, and in some situations it is the way to go. This is just, an alternative. It's, I suppose, does suit the DIYer quite a lot because it's easy to use. Very little can go wrong once you do and follow the instructions that are on the packaging of each individual product. So the first thing we want to talk about is the unpackaging of the box. Nowadays these products, as you see, come in a good hard type bucket, fairly solid, good lid on it. There is a seal on some of these that just you pop it open just to make sure that it hasn't been tampered with. Some of these products may not have that actual seal, they just have a click on lid. So the first thing to look at is, we just use the Botmint here just to show you how you work this, okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is when you take this product in from your supplier, whether it be delivered on site or whether you're out with your vehicle or the back of your car, your van, collecting this product from a supplier. A lot of paving centres will sell this product and have 2 or 3 different types on display there at all times. So you bring home the product. Now, I'm not casting aspersions on any company or anything like that, but I'm just saying that we have had in the past with different products, and sometimes we've had to go for different manufacturers in order to match a colour or maybe match into something that was done previously. And we've had, like, let it be said, we have had, you know, a few issues with opening up the product and the product itself being hard inside. So let me just remove the product from the bucket and just place it on the ground here. So now, this is what your product looks like once it arrives out of the bucket. So we keep that for a later date because it will have a use, okay? Now, your product is in a vacuum sealed bag, and the reason it's in that vacuum sealed bag, it's when this product becomes mixed on the paving surface and is aerated through the process of being spread around on the patio, that air activates the resin and the resin goes hard. So the product itself is manufactured with a sand and a resin. Don't ask me what's in the resin, that's for the manufacturers to know those little secrets, but from a landscaping or DIY point of view, it's a sand mixed with a resin. And that resin then, like varnish or like paint or like any of those type of things, once it's mixed with air out of its container, the air makes it activate and go hard. That's breaking it down to layman's terms. So when this product is spread across the site, it goes into the joint and hardens up. It will also go hard in this packet if this vacuum seal pack is breached in some way, whether it's a pinhole, whether it's somebody has stuck their fingernail into it, or it got pinched in some way, or the plastic itself maybe has, you know, failed in some way or shape or form. So my first tip is take the bag from the bucket, and it's very simple to check the product to see if it's viable, and that's by just pressing into the bag like this. You can go around the bag and ensure that it's viable inside, nice and soft all the way around the bag. And by doing that, you now have confirmed to yourself that the material inside is 100% usable. The reason I say this to you is it may not be a manufacturer's fault. This product could be delivered on site to a distribution centre, i.e. your hardware, your builders providers or your landscape suppliers. Somebody could have popped the lid off, had a bit of a poke around inside to see what it was like, stuck their fingernail in it, or even, you know, whatever they may have done. Or it can be a case of maybe when it was put into the bag, the machine that was working on it has tore the liner in some way, and the air has got in. And we have had cases throughout time where this product has been, you know, hard corner on it, or half the pack hard, or whatever way it may be, right? So the thing to do is just check it over. Now, you've just confirmed to yourself that the product is viable, it's 100% usable. You now can get your Stanley knife, cut the bag and use away on the product. And you're going to get full value for money. So whether the product is in the 20, 30, 40 euro, 50 euro price range, or, you know, your 20, 30, 40 pound sterling range, whatever it may be, the size of buckets do vary. Some companies go 15 kg, some go 20, so there's varying sizes. You've confirmed 100% the product is usable. Now, in the case of a hard lump maybe in the corner, or half the bucket gone hard, if you've cut the packet, you can get into a situation, especially from a DIYer's point of view, where you may only discover the thing after a week. It could be, you know, 2 weeks maybe down the line before you actually go to use the product. And the argument may be thrown at you when you go back to your supplier and say, this bucket was hard. They'll say, oh yeah, you cut that peg 10 days ago, you didn't read the instructions, you left it there, and the product went hard inside in the bag. And how are you to argue the case? So the simple tip today is check it over, make sure it's all viable before you cut the bag. If so, you go back to the company if there's anything wrong, and you can say this to them. They can't argue the case that there's any damage done to the packet, and therefore then they'll have to reimburse you or give you a new batch out. Okay, so that covers that side of things. So we place this back into the bucket here. Now, the next tip then that I would like to share with you is, picture a typical example of a landscaper doing a large patio area, or any size patio area, and you need maybe 2 to 3 buckets of this product, 4 or 5 buckets, whatever it may be, and you run into a situation where you've got maybe 1 or 2 square metres in a corner and you have to open a new bucket just to do that little bit of a corner. So you're only going to take out maybe 1, 2 trowelfuls of stuff or product from the bucket and put it out on the patio, and now you have, let's say this product costs you 50 euro, 50 pounds, and you have 3/4 of that there sitting in a bucket, and what are you going to do with that? A lot of people would say, right, what can I do? Chuck it in the skip. Now, that's fair enough. Number one, it's costly, because you've just bought that product and it's going in the skip. And second of all, we all do have to think a little bit environmentally friendly. I know maybe on a small scale it's not going to make a major difference, but it is going to make a difference if we all start to think a little bit that way. And by chucking a product that was manufactured, and it's not a natural product, it was manufactured, there's an environmental product, a carbon footprint towards that product being manufactured, and therefore then you've just chucked it in a bin. So here's my little tip on this. It's not mentioned on the manufacturer's instructions or guidelines. I suppose there's a couple of different reasons as to why they may not want to tell you this, because it can go wrong and maybe they'd be liable then to replacing the product if you don't do it correctly. Okay, so the tip is, if you have your bag, here's a little example that I made up this week. Here is we'll say half to maybe a third of a bag that is gone rock solid. You can hear that there. It's completely solid, okay? So what has happened here, as you can see, we've opened the bag, we've used X amount out of the bag, a third or a half, and the product has gone rock solid because I just left it out in the air to see what would happen. Okay, so now we just grab this small camera here and just show inside the bag what that looks like. Okay, now so the product has gone hard, and that, as I've said, is because the air has mixed with the product and it's gone solid. Okay, how do you prevent that from happening? The very simple solution to this is that you have to stop air from going into that product to preserve it. So my little tip is that you get the bag in its soft format before you've let too much air into it. You scrunch up the bag, get it as neat and tidy as you possibly can, and you place it back into the bucket. Once it's in the bucket, the one thing that is readily available and is guaranteed to work, that will not allow air to be inside of it, is water. So by filling this bucket up with water, giving it maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes for all the air bubbles to come from the packaging inside and work its way up, you'll see the bubble effect on the water as it moves up. You then will have a product completely void of air. There's no air can be impregnated back into that whilst it's covered with water. What I usually do is I place a piece of a brick or a piece of paving on top of the bag just to ensure the bag will stay as compact as possibly it can, and then I fill the bucket up with water. That will then keep for X amount of weeks or days or months. For the DIYer, you're at home doing a patio at the back of your house. You've only got a certain amount of time per week in between maybe your shift working, maybe you're off the weekends, maybe you have a couple of hours during the week or evening times, and you can only do so much work on your patio throughout the week. And you open up a packet of this to grout out an area, and you discover, oh, I've only got 4 metres of paving down, and this thing is going to cover 6 metres or whatever the case may be on the joint size of the paving you're putting down, and you end up with half, 3/4 of a bag sitting there or whatever it may be. And again, you know, you're on a budget, you can't afford to be wasting this stuff. This will allow you to package up the product, put it away safe, basically keep this product viable until the next day that you have the opportunity to get back at the job. We've done this for years and it has worked for years. And I'll just show you, here is a bucket of water. It might be hard to see from where you are there. We'll put the GoPro camera in just so you can see what it looks like in the bottom. If you can, I'm not sure if you can see very clearly, but the water has gone a little bit discoloured, and so that will prove how long that product is in there. So by simply taking up the bag with the water, now it's going to get a little bit messy. When we take this up, we will see that yes, the bag will be full of water. Now that isn't much of an issue, because these products will say that you must wet the surface. In some of these products cases, you can actually make a slurry by saturating the product, put it in a bucket and wet it right down, and you can make a kind of a slurry for it to flow into the joints a little bit better. So as you can see, the colour of the bag, you can see the water discolouring that is on this product, on the outside of this product. Inside the bag is perfectly clear, and if I take up a handful of the product, you can see that the product is totally viable. Yes, as you can see, the water is running from that, and once it has dried out a little bit or relieved the water from it, this product will broadcast out over the surface, no problem at all. So you can see there, if I put that out on the surface and start to brush it in, no problem whatsoever. So you've just turned a product that effectively was going to end up in a skip, you've put it to one side, you can reuse it again after a couple of days. So for the DIYer, that's an actually brilliant product, because it might be your first time, or maybe it's a one-off patio kind of situation you're doing, and you don't have the opportunity or the expertise or the knowledge to know how far a product will go and how much paving to get down before you open a bucket. So that product will end up in a skip if you miscalculate on that side of things. So that to me is a good little tip. Hope you think so. Hope you appreciate and use that to the best of your ability to get value from your product going forward. The last little tip that I'd like to share with you is something that can go a little bit wrong while using the product. We will do a later video where we will show how to install this product into joints, how to minimise the amount of product you use when placing your paving so that your joint depth isn't very, very deep. And then this product obviously will, you know, if you're going to use, 15-20 mil of this product, but if your joint is very, very deep and you go into kind of 40, 50, 60 mil, even up, maybe even 80 or 100 mil, I've seen cases where the bedding mix was laid too deep and the joint was left wide, and down goes the product. It'll just swallow up this product, and you'll use buckets and buckets of it. So just to make you aware on the little tips and tricks on the actual laying process. There are specific tools. They're not very high-tech tools, just a squeegee and a soft brush, what have you. Very easy to get this product into the joints. Does a great job. Very easy to clean off the surface once you're finished grouting out the patio. So we'll go through that at a later date, the actual installation of it. The one little thing that I've seen going on before is maybe in corners or around drain pipes and different things, where it can be a little bit awkward to get a brush into that little area or what have you. People get down on their hands and knees and they're wearing these €2 or €3 pairs of work gloves with a lovely red face on them, or a green kind of face on them. It's some sort of a kind of a rubbery surface to give you grip to your materials you're handling. That product on that face of that glove has a pigment in it, a colouring in it, and in some cases, especially with the real cheap gloves, the resin in this can soften the pigment in the glove, or the particles in the glove slightly, And what I've seen people doing is down on a patio with a small joint, and they're rubbing the product like this into the joint, massaging it into the joint, doing a great job making sure it's packed in, and they're rubbing this way, that way, and they're, you know, whatever they're doing, right? That's okay if you want to use your hand. But if you use one of these gloves, I have seen it before, where the resin interacted with the glove, softened the material in the glove somehow. Don't ask me what the scientific side of that is, but it did do it. And the pigment, red, or in this case I think it was green, was transferred into the paving. It was granite paving, if I remember rightly, one of the situations. And by the rubbing process, they were rubbing in the actual the pigment colour into the paving. Wasn't so evident while doing the job because the surface was slightly wet, maybe not wet enough in this case, but it then transpired once it all dried out that this pigment had discoloured the outside of the paving slabs, and you got this picture framing and a slight green cast once the sun shone on it. And these this is I don't know how or if it's possible to remove that from the paving, and it's something that you either have to live with, or in some cases the customer might not be happy with that and they may say that's not good enough. They may bring in a third party to look at this, some sort of paving expert, and it could be a case of you would have to go and replace the patio. So that's just a good little tip not to be doing that. Yes, of course, in the corners you can use a little paintbrush and get into a corner, which we'd often do, you know, a 3-4 inch paintbrush. You might have to get into a corner just to get it around a drain pipe or in around a doorstep crevice. You'll have to do that, and sometimes you use your hand to get it in, but just be aware of the glove thing, because that can lead to problems and you can get issues on your paving. You know, it's just another little tip that I'd like to share with you, just to be aware of that. It's not out of badness or cutting corners that guys end up doing this. Sometimes it's down to the most junior member of staff on a job, or, you know, a DIYer who, you know, no offence taken by this, but maybe have a pair of hands that wouldn't be tough enough for this kind of work, and they want to wear a pair of gloves, which is fine. You start getting welts and sores in your hand from doing this kind of work, heavy lifting and what have you. Cement burns is another thing. So just a little tip on that, just to be careful. That, I hope, covers all of the little tips and tricks that I have used over the years. I hope you find it useful. I hope it's something that you can have a go at, or maybe you've been thrown this product in a skip at different times and you've said, oh, I didn't know that, and hopefully that will help you in some way, shape or form. If it does, that's brilliant. We have lots of really good videos coming up of different tips and tricks and products reviews and things like that. So I hope you like what you see on the channel. If so, will you please subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell to receive notifications as to when the next video will appear. We also have a Facebook page, Landscaping with Alan. Have a look there. It will show some build-ups to videos that are coming, maybe some other little small snippets of information there, competitions that we will have running as well throughout the next couple of months and weeks, and shows you how to enter those competitions. So some very interesting products and bits and pieces there for going up for offer in our competitions along the way. So I'll leave it there, folks. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks very much for watching this video and subscribing to the channel for the subscribers that are there. So till the next time, take care, bye bye.